The Cursed Game, found in the attic of the house that brings catastrophe. The film begins by showing three children, young Anna, her younger brother Max, and their friend Mary, playing a forbidden game in the attic of Anna's house. They sit inside a circle of salt while struggling to relight extinguished candles, which are meant to ward off a creature known as the Midnight Man. The salt circle serves as protection, preventing the Midnight Man from attacking them. As soon as they succeed in lighting the candles, a terrifying noise is heard, signaling the presence of the Midnight Man nearby.
He's coming.
Where is he?
This terrifies Mary so much that she accidentally steps outside the salt circle. It doesn't take long before the Midnight Man drags Mary into the darkness and kills her brutally.
Help me.
Meanwhile, young Anna and her brother Max quickly repair the salt circle that had been broken because of Mary's mistake. The clock shows 3:32 a.m., meaning the forbidden game is nearly over. The game is supposed to end at 3:33 a.m. Young Anna and Max are just about to win, while the Midnight Man is on the verge of losing. However, Mary's death leaves Max traumatized. Overcome by fear, Max urges his sister to leave the house immediately. But leaving before the game ends, even with just 1 minute remaining, is considered the most fatal violation of the rules. In a panic, Max insists on escaping and ends up being killed by the Midnight Man.
It's against the rules.
Forget the rules, Anna.
Now, only young Anna survives, as the game finally comes to an end. Time passes quickly and the story shifts to the present day in the same house that holds a dark past. Anna Luster, now old and frail, lies in her room being cared for by her granddaughter, Alex Luster, who is trying to put her to sleep.
Grandpa passed. It has never been the same.
After Anna finally rests, Alex receives a call from one of her close friends, Miles, who says he plans to visit and keep her company throughout the night. Alex agrees, but she is forced to end the call abruptly when Anna suddenly screams hysterically.
Nana?
Alex rushes into Anna's room to check on her, only to find that Anna is asking for her handheld mirror, which is kept inside an old chest in the attic. This request shocks Alex because ever since she was a child, Anna had forbidden anyone, including her granddaughter, from entering the attic. But tonight is different. Anna herself asks Alex to retrieve the mirror. Reluctantly, Alex goes up to the attic in search of the mirror.
There you are.
When she opens the old chest, she is startled by what she finds inside. A pistol, bullets, the handheld mirror Anna requested, and a mysterious box tied with string. Suddenly, Alex is startled again by the unexpected arrival of Miles. Alex shows Miles the mysterious box she has just discovered. Curious about its contents, Alex and Miles decide to open it.
It could be nothing. Could be,
Inside, they find several items such as candles, matches, a container of salt similar to the one used in the Midnight Man game, a pencil, a needle, old photographs, and a piece of paper listing several names. Anna's name is written among them. Not only that, but the name of Max, Anna's younger brother who died long ago, is also there. What shocks them even more are the red stains beside the names, which they believe to be blood. Suddenly, Anna appears and screams hysterically, terrified at the sight of the open box.
look who I found.
She manages to say that Alex and Miles have reopened the forbidden game before collapsing unconscious. Panicked and worried about Anna's condition, Alex immediately contacts Dr. Harding, the family doctor who has long treated Anna since she began showing symptoms of mental illness. Not long after, Dr. Harding arrives at the house and examines Anna. After a brief check, he administers a sedative injection to calm her fragile mental state. Once he is finished, Dr. Harding advises Alex to always lock Anna's room and make sure her grandmother doesn't wander around because, in her condition, Anna might harm herself. Before leaving the house, Dr. Harding expresses his condolences to Alex for the death of her mother when she was still a child. After Dr. Harding's departure, Anna's words before fainting keep echoing in Alex and Miles's minds. She said they had opened the forbidden game. They realize Anna has been hiding something. Driven by curiosity, Alex and Miles return to the attic that night. They reopen the mysterious box they had found earlier. Upon closer inspection, they discover an old sheet of paper hidden beneath the pile of items. The paper contains instructions on how to play a game called the Midnight Man. They read and follow the instructions one by one. The first step is to write down the players' names on a piece of paper.
First, you must write your name.
Next, each player must prick their finger with a needle and place a drop of blood beside their name as a form of mark, a confirmation that they willingly join the game. After that, they must light their own candles, turn off all the lights in the house, and tape the paper containing their names and blood onto the front door. The final and most crucial step must be done exactly at midnight. The players must knock on the front door 22 times. After following all the instructions, they can only wait to see whether the game is truly real or not. They begin to wonder if this game is the main reason behind Anna's overwhelming fear. In addition, there are prohibitions written on the paper, but they cannot read all of them because part of the sheet is torn. They search through the box, but the missing piece cannot be found. Alex tells Miles to keep looking for the missing fragment while she goes to check on Anna in her room. Before leaving, Alex makes sure her candle stays lit and carries it with her, since according to the rules, the candle must remain burning and must not be separated from the player. Not long after Alex leaves, Miles finally discovers the torn piece they were looking for. It is tucked between the pages of a book. Miles reads the piece of paper, which clearly states several important prohibitions that must be followed during the game. First, players must not fall asleep while the game is in progress. Second, they must not remain too long in the same room, as this will make them easier to be found by the Midnight Man. The third prohibition states that if a player's candle goes out, it must be relit within 10 seconds. If they fail, the only way to survive is to create a protective circle of salt. Once the salt circle is made, the player must then relight the extinguished candle. If any of these rules are broken, the Midnight Man will come to kill them. The game will end exactly at 3:33 a.m., and whoever survives until then will be considered the winner. After finishing reading the prohibitions, Miles goes to find Alex to warn her about them. Meanwhile, Alex is now in Anna's room, but she cannot find her grandmother. Thinking Anna is in the bathroom, Alex places her candle on the table before entering. Without Alex realizing it, as she steps into the bathroom, Anna suddenly appears out of nowhere and deliberately blows out Alex's candle. According to the rules, Alex must relight her candle within 10 seconds, or she will become the target of the Midnight Man. With her candle extinguished, Alex begins experiencing terrifying disturbances from the Midnight Man. Fortunately, Miles arrives just in time. Without hesitation, he creates a salt circle around Alex, saving her from the creature's attack. Still trembling, Alex asks what is really happening. Miles shows her the torn piece of paper he found and explains each prohibition one by one. After making sure Alex is protected, Miles retrieves her candle from the table, struggles to relight it, and hands it back to her, reminding her that the candle must remain lit and must never be left behind. They must also keep moving, as staying too long in one room clearly violates the rules and can summon the Midnight Man. Alex, still shaken, begins to worry about Anna's safety. However, Miles tries to reassure her, insisting that the game only affects those who have participated in the ritual. As long as Anna is not involved, she should remain safe. In an attempt to prove whether the deadly game is truly real, Miles makes a reckless decision. He deliberately extinguishes his own candle, performing a dangerous experiment that could cost him his life. Miles waits to see what will happen when his candle remains unlit for more than 10 seconds. When the time passes, the Midnight Man suddenly appears behind him, ready to strike. Miles nearly dies at the hands of the creature, but he is saved by the sound of knocking at the front door, followed by a voice calling from outside. The sudden presence distracts the Midnight Man, halting his attack. It turns out to be Kelly, one of their friends who arrives after being invited by Miles without Alex's knowledge. Still trembling, Miles quickly relights his candle and finally accepts that the game is real. Without wasting time, Alex and Miles head to the front door to greet Kelly, who has no idea about the terrifying ordeal they have just endured. Kelly, upon entering, is confused to find the house completely dark. Alex and Miles explain that they have been playing a forbidden game they discovered in the attic, a game called The Midnight Man. Instead of being afraid, Kelly expresses interest in joining. She believes that if the three of them play together, their chances of surviving and finishing the game will be much greater. Without hesitation, she approaches the front door where the paper containing Alex and Miles's names is still attached. Kelly picks up a pencil, writes her name at the bottom of the list, then pricks her finger with a needle and places a drop of blood next to her name. After completing the ritual, Kelly is required to light her own candle. Just like the others, she must keep the flame burning throughout the game. The three of them are now officially part of the Midnight Man game. As they walk around, Alex tells them about her mother, who committed suicide in this house when she was a child. Alex still vividly remembers witnessing the event with her own eyes. To this day, she never truly understood the reason behind her mother's desperate action. Alex begins to speculate that maybe her mother once played this cursed game as well. Perhaps losing the game drove her to choose suicide. Alex even suspects that her grandmother has been hiding something all along, since Anna did not show any grief at the time of the tragedy. Because they remain in the same room for too long, breaking the rules, their candles suddenly go out at the same time.
Like she was happy.
They only have 10 seconds to relight them before the creature comes. Alex and Miles manage to relight theirs, but Kelly is not so lucky. Her candle gets wet from leaking water dripping through the ceiling pipes, making it impossible to relight within 10 seconds. Realizing the imminent danger, Alex instructs Kelly to create a salt circle as temporary protection. Alex remembers there are spare candles in the dining room, so she and Miles rush off to find one, hoping to bring back a dry candle so Kelly can rejoin the game. When they reach the dining room, they cannot find a single candle. Instead, they are shocked by the sudden appearance of Dr. Harding. His presence is completely unexpected, and his serious expression makes it clear he already knows what is happening. Dr. Harding reveals that Alex, Miles, and Kelly have indeed started playing the forbidden game called Midnight Man. He begins to disclose a past he has kept hidden for many years. He explains that this is not the first time the game has been played. Decades ago, when Anna was still a child, the game was also played in this very house, and Dr. Harding was present that night as well. He had been invited by Anna to keep them company, but his role was only that of an observer. Young Anna, Max, and Mary insisted that the game could only be played by those they considered old enough. They believed the game was far too dangerous for younger children. Since Dr. Harding was the youngest among them, he was not allowed to participate. He remained only a witness to what happened to Anna, Max, and Mary. That night became one he would never forget. Out of the three, Anna was the only one who survived, while Max and Mary mysteriously disappeared, their bodies never found. Since then, Anna has lived haunted by her past, keeping the cursed game a secret and trying to protect others from it, especially Alex. Dr. Harding warns that the Midnight Man is not just an ordinary creature. He is cruel and merciless, and what makes him most terrifying is not only his power, but also his nature of never accepting defeat. The creature will do anything, including cheating, setting traps, manipulating circumstances, and even breaking his own rules just to ensure that he always wins. Dr. Harding then asks where their friend Kelly is. They must return to her immediately before the Midnight Man finds a way to kill her.
You say your friend is in. I'm afraid she's no longer bait. He tends to bend the rules. The Midnight Man doesn't like to lose.
Meanwhile, Kelly, left alone, tries to convince herself not to be afraid of the Midnight Man. She firmly believes the creature cannot touch her, since according to the rules, he cannot harm her while she is inside the salt circle. However, Kelly does not realize that the Midnight Man is not a fair player. With his cunning, he begins exploiting the environment. The creature punctures a bucket filled with water so that the leaking flow will eventually wash away the salt circle. Realizing the threat, Kelly grabs a flower pot nearby, pouring out the soil to block the stream of water from reaching and destroying the circle. But, just as Dr. Harding had explained, the Midnight Man never accepts defeat and will always cheat. He immediately knocks over the bucket, spilling water across the floor.
I can wait you out all night.
In an instant, Kelly's protective salt circle is gone. With the circle destroyed, the Midnight Man can easily kill her.
Now it's your turn to
At the same time, Alex, Miles, and Dr. Harding arrive at Kelly's location, only to find her lifeless body. Dr. Harding explains that this is the consequence faced by anyone who loses the Midnight Man game. Time keeps moving, and they know they cannot stop here. They quickly head to the attic, the place where the game was first discovered. There, they must destroy everything related to the game so that no one else becomes its victim. Before they can completely destroy the game, Alex uncovers a shocking truth about why her mother committed suicide. Her suspicion proves to be correct. Her mother had once played the cursed game. What devastates Alex the most is the realization that her mother did not join by choice, but was tricked by Anna. It was Anna who subtly manipulated Alex's mother into participating in the ritual. The woman Alex had always thought of as family turned out to be the very person who dragged her mother into danger. The same pattern is now repeating with Alex. Anna's request for the handheld mirror, which seemed trivial, was actually part of a plan to lure Alex into the game. To prevent further disaster, Dr. Harding instructs Alex and Miles to form a salt circle as their final protection, while he, not being part of the game, remains safe outside the circle.
My mom didn't kill herself.
Make a circle of protection. Fast!
She's been supplying the Midnight Man with players.
The tense calm is broken when Anna suddenly emerges from the darkness. Dr. Harding immediately senses something is wrong. The Anna standing before them is no longer the woman she once was. The person they thought to be the mastermind behind all the chaos is revealed to be nothing more than a vessel for the Midnight Man. The creature had never truly left after Anna survived the game decades ago. Instead, it lingered near her, quietly growing with her over the years until it finally took control of her consciousness. Using Anna's body and mind, the Midnight Man tricked both Alex's mother and now Alex into playing the game. Although the creature cannot touch Dr. Harding directly because he is not a player, the Midnight Man refuses to give up. With cunning cruelty, he uses Anna's body as a weapon. Fully possessed, Anna brutally attacks Dr. Harding, killing him. Witnessing the horrifying act carried out by her grandmother under the creature's control, Alex has no choice but to shoot Anna. Once Anna is dead, the Midnight Man manifests before them. At that moment, the sound of the grandfather clock strikes, 3:30 a.m. There are still 3 minutes left before the game officially ends. The creature, hating nothing more than defeat, looms over them. Now all Alex and Miles can do is wait until the time reaches 3:33 a.m. Not wanting to take any risks, they decide to remain inside the salt circle until the game's time limit has passed. They decide to wait until 4 a.m. to make sure they are truly safe. The grandfather clock chimes again, signaling that it is now past 4 o'clock. Relieved, they believe everything is finally over. Alex and Miles are declared the winners of the game. Miles steps out of the salt circle to check on Dr. Harding's body. But when his eyes fall on the watch on Dr. Harding's wrist, the time displayed is 3:27 a.m., not 4 as they thought. In that instant, Miles recalls Dr. Harding's earlier warning about the Midnight Man's nature, never accepting defeat and always cheating. Without them realizing it, the Midnight Man had already manipulated time, creating the illusion that the game had ended. As a result, Miles is killed by the creature. While Alex, still inside the salt circle, becomes the only survivor of the ordeal.
Your game is over.
Sometime after the tragic events that claimed the lives of Alex's family and friends, news spreads about a massive clearance sale of second-hand items from the house. Alan, a man who hears about it, decides to take his son to visit Alex's house. Seeing it as an opportunity to buy cheap goods still in usable condition, he looks around. His son becomes particularly interested in a neatly tied box. The boy imagines it might contain toys or other exciting things he can take home. But without their knowledge, the box is far from ordinary. Inside lies the forbidden game known as the Midnight Man, a game that has already claimed many lives. And thus, the story ends.